Hi and welcome to this update on the investment approach at TEC. The purpose of this video is to really get past the rhetoric and cut to the brass tacks on what it is that TEC is doing around implementing an investment approach in tertiary education. You know, the investment approach is a bit of the phrase of the year, I guess, in Wellington, and I think it'll be quite helpful if maybe I describe a little bit about what it actually is when we describe it at the TEC. For us, it's really two things. In the broad, it's around making a variety of changes to the way in which we run as an organisation and the way in which we fund in the broad the system for tertiary education. But more specifically, it's around seeking to improve the return on investment for the government and for New Zealand from the $2.89 billion spend that we have on tertiary education. How do we want to go about doing that? Well, in the first instance, we want to move away from funding just around historical patterns of delivery and using what I think you'd all agree are some pretty mechanistic modes of the way in which we've previously funded. We want to move away from that and more towards looking at the return on investment that we can get from the outcomes that providers can deliver for the learners that they're delivering to. How are we going to go about doing that? Well, one of the things that we think is going to be particularly important in that context is powering up the demand side. That means employers, it means families, it means communities, and specifically it means learners and parents. We want to be able to give far more information to that demand side to enable them to be able to make better decisions. So things like Rate My Qual and information for learners are absolutely critical in terms of the future that we see and really sit there as the base work that underpins an investment approach. Those are the sorts of things that we think are going to be critical going forward. The whole investment approach really is, one of the foundations to it, I guess, is going to be this idea of a largely self-correcting system. And that means giving the likes of whether it's providers, tertiary education organisations, learners and parents the freedom to be able to make decisions and largely use the information and really rich information that we're going to be putting out there to be able to make the decisions to look for better outcomes. Then it would be TEC's role to look at moving provision or funding from low performing to high performing areas where the system hasn't responded. So once again, that system is based fundamentally around an ability to have really good information in the system.